The pinup girl first appeared in 1941. Pinups did not become a social phenomenon until the mid-1943, that year in there, when GIs wrote to Life magazine asking for illustrated or Hollywood pinups and images of everyday women. And according to a 2020 study by the University of Iowa, by the end of 1944, pinup girls were increasingly represented by wives and girlfriends of homesick soldiers. And now, more than 80 years later, a version of the pinup still exists. And one nonprofit is using them to support our veterans. To learn more, we are live with Jennifer Bennie, an Iraq War veteran and U.S. Navy pilot who lives here in the Mid-South. You just know the push. She's just like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, we're nearing November 11th, right? Veterans Day.
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, just tell me how, how did you become part of this initiative?
Sure. So I am a Navy veteran. I'm a former Navy pilot. I was winged 3 days after 9/11.
Oh, wow.
And I went out to San Diego. I flew the 60 Bravo, which is the Navy's version of the Black Hawk.
Oh my goodness.
So, yes, it was quite
there
exciting.
You are.
There I am. Yes, one of the first women in my squadron, call sign Yoko, because I broke up the band. But it was so exciting and fun.
You're the Yoko Ono of your bands.
Exactly.
It's so funny.
But it was a great experience, and I did 7 years in the United States Navy. I got out after my initial commitment. I went back to school, went to grad school at the University of Memphis, got a master's degree of history, and started to get online and do some history-related content, and that's where I learned about the nonprofit PinUps For Vets.
So you have this YouTube page, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's called
Walk with History, because
right.
I take you to the location.
Oh my goodness. And so then they noticed you and they reached out?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so tell me, what is this nonprofit, PinUps For Vets?
PinUps For Vets, so plural. So every woman in this calendar is a veteran. All of us have service. In this calendar alone, this is the new calendar for 2025, there's over 117 years of service. Every woman is a veteran. Again, I'm the only Navy veteran. I'm Miss October. It's the Navy's birth month.
It's a perfect month because that's when I was born.
Yes, it is.
No.
It's the best month. Go Navy. And we have 2 Purple Hearts. They sandwich us. They're January and December. But every service is represented by women, and it's really great to be a part of.
Yeah, well, I mean, speaking of being a part of this, why did you want to, when they reached out, what happened from that point forward, and why did you say yes?
Well, I love the historic aspect of the pinup. I love what the pinup represents in history, what men were fighting for in World War II. They wanted to be reminded of their wives and their mothers and their sisters. And so I just like that historical aspect of it. But I also love what they do. We have visited over 49 states. We only have Alaska to go.
What month are you?
It's October.
So wait, you said October, yes.
And we visited over 20,000 veterans already. We go to the veteran homes. We sign the calendars for them. So it's just something that we can do to give back to the generation that came before us.
Oh, this is so good.
So when I visit the veteran homes, I've done Kentucky and Mississippi. I sign the calendar. I talk to the veteran, ask them about their service, when they served, what service they were in. And it's just a great way to connect with the other generation and visit them and let them know that they haven't been forgotten.
Our service numbers
Yes.
are low.
Yes.
Right. What is something you would tell, as we approach Veterans Day, to just the people out there who are considering service? What would you say is the importance?
I would say it's the best decision I ever made in my life.
In what way?
So I got to be a pilot in the United States Navy.
Well, there's that.
I have an undergraduate degree and a master's degree, all paid for by the United States Navy, no student loan debt. I got to see the world. I got to be an influence in women and men. I was the highest ranking female on my last ship. It gave me so much confidence, but I always say the gift of perspective. To be an American woman, you will never appreciate it more until you go into other countries and see what it's like to be a woman in another country.
Right. And so when you think back on your service, how many years, what is the commitment like for someone who is considering this? And then it sounds like we already heard the return. I mean, everyone complains about student debt. It's not just that, but the service too.
Sure. So it depends on what you want to do in the United States Navy. It depends on how much training you're going to get. But usually the initial commitment is 4 years.
Okay.
And then depending on what kind of training you want to do and what you want to be. As a pilot, it depends. It's usually 6 to 8 years as initial commitment, and depending on different jobs. But usually after you do those 4 years, you're eligible for a GI Bill. You can go to college. I met a lot of students at the University of Memphis who were getting their undergraduate degrees from their military service. So it provides you a lot of opportunity even for that initial commitment.
Okay, and then when you think of how this is impacting our veterans, can you just speak to that and then tell us how people can get a copy?
So this is the 2025 calendar. So I know everyone's doing shopping right now for Christmas and Veterans Day. This is such a great nonprofit. Again, we visited over 20,000 veterans in VA homes. I've already seen over 100 in Kentucky, 100 in Mississippi, some veterans who never get visits. I dress PinUp when I go in, I talk with them, I spend time with them. So it's just a great way to give back to the generation of veterans before us. You can find it at PinUps, plural, because it's more than one, PinUpsForVets.com.
Okay, wonderful. First of all, thank you so much for your service and just your diversified perspective where, you know, you're able to just take all these different skills and then present them so that it's, you know, the consumption can happen so that people can look for the next veterans and look after the past. So
absolutely. I think being a United States veteran, like I said, the gift of perspective, but also confidence. I think it gives a lot to our younger generation that you can do it, you can be somebody great, you can do something great, and you can make an impact on your country.
All right, I think we heard it all, right? That was amazing. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Amazing.